Hello everyone, today we're going to be restoring this Gucci card holder slash wallet. I bought this secondhand, and the person I bought it from, it was also not new to them. However, after they bought it, I think their puppy got into it or something, and so there was a little bit of damage, kind of like right there, right here, right here. Not terrible, but definitely some areas that are probably going to be pretty difficult to have restored overall. But I think I'm actually going to keep this for myself. But I did want to go through and patch up the little divots, which I have already done. And you can do this with kind of like any leather repair acrylic paint. I think that's what I used here, and I've already kind of gone through. And so what I did is I essentially filled the holes up, and I tried to take a tool like this and kind of spread it out so that there's no big chunky texture differences. It's actually probably still there and you can feel a difference, but I think it'll look okay once I prepare this and dye it all black. So that's the goal with this. So I'll take you through the steps and we'll see how it turns out. I've never actually done this before. I didn't think about cleaning the leather before I patched up these holes. So before I add any more of this hole patching material, I think I'm just going to clean this out really well and try to remove some kind of the gloss from the paint. And then maybe we'll go back and patch up some of these little holes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clean the inside of this just a little bit with one of these Clorox wipes that I've kind of shown you guys before. It works really well on this kind of like poly canvas material that tends to be used to line bags and purses and wallets. So it's actually a very durable material and can be very easily cleaned with some of those Clorox wipes, I have found. All right, let's get started. So here I have just a little patch of Clorox wipe, and I'm just going through and just kind of doing a very preliminary clean out of that poly canvas. And I mean, this has been holding cards and cash and stuff, and so probably isn't terribly dirty on the inside there, but just kind of a neat freak. So, and I'm actually just gonna kind of rub down on the leather a little bit as well. Hopefully I'll remove some of that kind of shine. That'll eventually make it easier to dye this leather. So it's actually none of the red is transferring over, which I guess is good and bad. It'll make my job more difficult, but maybe it means that the leather dye will stick better to it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so no big, large dirt or stains. So I'm just going to take another wipe that's has a little bit more solution on it and just kind of give it a good cleaning. The inside pocket here is all leather, so I'm not going to go crazy with the Clorox wipe, just kind of a little bit there. All right, so we'll let this kind of dry a little bit. I'll probably put just kind of like some pieces of sponge or some tissue paper or something to just kind of keep this open and just kind of let it air dry, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Welcome back, everybody. So I have gone through and taken one of these Clorox wipes. It's actually one of my favorite things to clean leather with, and actually put some ethanol, which is this same stuff that I've showed you guys before. This is, you can just buy it on Amazon. So I've gone through and cleaned off all the surfaces of this Gucci wallet, and so it'll be ready to take the leather dye that I'll eventually put on it. I think this is a really important step before you consider going and leather dyeing the leather. I've tried some leather projects before where I did not take that part seriously and tried to dye the leather anyway, and I think whatever grease or oil or any kind of transferred stains on there really did not allow the leather dye to get in, and so it was kind of a waste of time and it ended up looking terrible. So I've learned my lesson, and I really take this step very seriously now, and so I highly recommend that you do as well. And so make sure you go through and really clean off that leather with the ethanol. Now, I had said before that I used some acrylic paint to patch up these holes because I really have never found any other good product to do that. But in anticipation of this project, so I'll just put this here to dry. In anticipation of this project, I actually went ahead and bought this leather filler made by Furniture Clinic. I'll link it down below in the description. But it's white, so that'll be interesting. We'll see how that looks. It might be a situation where maybe I'll mix it with some black acrylic paint. I'm not really sure. I'm guessing this is also water soluble, but the instructions for it say, apply in thin layers, drying each with moderate heat from a hairdryer for 5 minutes or naturally for 2 hours. Sand smooth, then apply color to restore the area. So sounds like you can actually paint over it. So I probably won't do the hairdryer thing, and I'll just kind of let it sit for probably 2 or more hours, honestly. And then we'll come back and see how it looks. So I'm going to give this just a few minutes to dry out, and then we'll get back to the leather filler portion. Alright guys, so here we have the leather filler. It's kind of a very creamy, almost like ice cream consistency, so it's pretty thick. So I've just taken one of these small paint brushes, so you can see right there, and I've gone through and I've kind of filled in some of the holes there. So that's that one, and then I have this other bigger hole right here. So I've kind of just gone in and kind of filled over the acrylic paint that I had tried to clean off a little bit. So for example, if I'm going to fill up this area here, just try to do a little patch job there. I don't know guys, I don't know how this is going to turn out. We'll see. If you end up seeing this, it means it turned out decent. And if you don't, well, I guess you don't, and it means I scrapped this project. But I'm thinking you'll probably see it, because if anything, I'll end up holding on to this. Though the more I think about this, you know, the more I realize wallets are meant to kind of get a beating, and so, you know, who knows how long this leather filler will last, but yeah, we'll test it out. So here I have a little patch that kind of wants to come up and out. We'll test my little strategy where you kind of tack some stuff under the bottom and then see if you can tack it down. Actually, it doesn't look half bad. Maybe we'll put a little bit more over the top there. All right, so I think that's probably a good start for now. I'll just kind of patch things up a little bit higher in this area, since I plan on probably leaving this to hang out for probably a day or so. We'll see how it looks. All right, so there you have it. It's all patched up with the Furniture Clinic, I think is the name, Furniture Clinic heavy leather filler. So we're gonna come back in a day or so, having let it dry, and we'll see what things look like. All right, see you soon. All right, so it's been a couple days since I've added this leather filler, and in between I've actually gone in and really kind of built it up a little bit, so just kind of stacked up, because it just seemed like one layer wasn't enough. So now, you know, it really feels, it kind of has a gummy, soft feel to it. I wouldn't say it really feels like this leather in particular, but I think it'll, maybe once I sand it down, it'll at least be at the same level, so you won't feel that roughness anymore. So, I mean, so far, I think this is kind of a great product. I've never had anything like this before and always needed something like this. So, so it's definitely built up, definitely over the level of the regular leather. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a really fine piece of sandpaper, and I'm basically gonna just kind of sand it over, which is the next step that is suggested by the manufacturer. So yeah, applying thin layers, drying each with moderate heat from a hairdryer for 5 hours or 5 minutes, or naturally for 2 hours. Sand smooth, then apply color to restore the area. So there you go. All right, so let me get some sandpaper and I'll show you guys what I do next. All right, so so the sandpaper that I am using is this 600 sandpaper. It's very, very fine, and so I like this for my finer leather goods. And so what I've done here is I've taken a little bit and I've actually gotten it wet, which sometimes I feel like maybe is a little bit more gentle. And so what I'm doing is I'll go to this area and just kind of very gently kind of just go through and sand this area. And I do think that this heavy leather filler may be water soluble, so I think the water also kind of helps smooth it out from that, in that sense, potentially. Or maybe it's just creating kind of this filmy residue on here because it's wet and I'm getting little particles of it on the sandpaper. So the sandpaper is like, once you do a couple a couple strokes with it, it doesn't seem as effective, so something to keep in mind. But all right, so I've gone in and kind of done a little bit of sanding there, and this stuff, you guys, feels amazing. I mean, I have not had any other kind of product that does this. This is pretty incredible. And I already went through and kind of patch tested it here, and if I wasn't looking at it and I was just feeling, I don't think I'd be able to tell a difference. And I think once I cover it over with some acrylic paint as well, like, it's gonna be so difficult to tell. And even here, you know, I mean, it feels a little bit different. It kind of has more of a gummy texture rather than the smooth texture of the leather. But for this being dog chewed, I mean, that's pretty amazing. So I am loving this product, and I think that I'm pretty much at the kind of same surface level for the leather and that filler. So I think that spot is good. This spot is good. This spot is good. This is kind of a weird edge. It's gonna be kind of hard to do. So really, I think I need a little bit more here. So I'll patch on some more of that heavy leather filler, let it dry. I'll come back and sand it and see what it looks like. I'll show you guys. And then this piece here was kind of falling off, so I kind of tried to glue it back in with this leather filler, and it actually looks pretty great. And it's level, so I don't think I need to do anything else here. So that was really cool to see as well. So you can pretty much like glue in a piece of the leather back in with this heavy leather filler, which is so cool. I've been waiting for this product for so long, so I am, oh gosh guys, I am just so thrilled with it. Yeah, we'll see how it holds up, but so far this stuff is awesome. All right, moving on. So yeah, see you guys in just a little bit.